Hello, hello, all my night riders, the late nighters. Where are you? Come on in. Hi, I am Queen Lillie. Welcome to my live. Yes, I went live earlier today, but since then I found out Donald Trump is an informant for the FBI. Yes, and it was said by Wolf, his biographer and Epstein's biographer, that Trump was an informant, and he was the one that informed on Epstein and had Epstein arrested. Well, it is being said that by Mike Johnson that Donald Trump is an informant. I showed y'all videos last year that he was a Russian informant. Now it's saying he's an informant for the FBI. Mike Johnson has kicked Donnie under the bus. Donald Trump is an FBI informant. Hello, King LaSwan. How you doing, my dear? How you doing? How you doing? Again, I am Queen Lillie. Welcome to my live. Hit that like button as you are coming in. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can send me super chats and super stickers. In my description is my Venmo. So if any of you have Venmo, you can send me something through Venmo as well. My PayPal link is in the description too. So if you have PayPal and you want to bless me, you can send me something through PayPal. Hello, King Allen. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Since I have been gone from my first live, I found out, which has been said before, that Donald Trump is an informant. Mike Johnson just let what we already knew. Mike Johnson said today that Donald Trump is an FBI informant. And that's how they got Epstein from the beginning. But this is not anything that's new. Because if y'all recall, I spoke on this. Do y'all remember? Even last year, I showed y'all videos about him being a KG, whatever they call it, KGP or something like that in Russia, a Russian spy. And I truly believe that's what he is. That's just my opinion. Nobody's going to be able to sway me from it. So we're going to listen to two different interviews of Mike Johnson saying this. Mike Johnson said from his paper thin lips that Donald Trump is an FBI informant. He said, I just spoke to him probably minutes ago. Y'all, Donnie is a rat. That's why he has that rat mouth. And he has those little rat teeth at the bottom of his mouth. I've been telling y'all that man is a rat. So take a listen to this. It says Mike Johnson claims Trump was such good friends to Epstein because he was an FBI informant trying to take him down. But you was friends with him all those years, Donnie.
Saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who suffered these unspeakable harms.
They make up anything to cover Trump.
24 hours ago, and that he's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible.
He said that the whole thing was a hoax, that the Democratic Party started. That's what Donald Trump has been saying. Now, Mike Johnson wants us to believe that no, that's not what the president is saying. He's totally for the survivors. Donald Trump has not showed an ounce of empathy for those survivors. What he did do, he had military jets to fly over them when they were giving their testimonies. That is what we're dealing with in America with Donald J. Trump. He has no empathy, sympathy, nothing. He's lying for Donald Trump. Mike Johnson is covering for Donald Trump. And he has owned up that Donald Trump is an FBI informant. I'm going to let you hear it again.
Not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable.
Happy Friday, Queen Bianca.
24 hours ago, and that he's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows.
What is an FBI informant? Let me Google that because I know MAGA, they're going to come from my throat. When I tell you today, when I got back home this evening, I checked some things that were said in comments on my community page. I had to delete it. When I tell you they mad at me because I would not take my foot off of Donald J. Trump's neck, I'm going to press it even hard on that funky neck. He got a bulldussy on his neck. Let's look up FBI informant, okay? Because that's what Donald Trump is. Mike Johnson just blew the top. I've been telling y'all since I started with this that Donald Trump was an informant, but he's a Russian spy as well, in my opinion. Hold on. I'm going to read to MAGA what is an FBI informant. Listen to this, MAGA, because this is what Donald Trump feels, baby. Mike Johnson let the cat out the bag, which I've been put it outside the bag long time ago, last year, when I showed y'all videos of him being a Russian spy, said by many FBI agents. The FBI was watching him back then. So he's been an FBI informant for quite some time, the early 1990s, honey. So a confidential informant is a secret source who, through a contact officer, supplies information on criminal activity to the police or law enforcement. But Donald Trump has not reported any crimes he does. Lying on his bank statement applications, lying, doing real estate, just lying and lying and lying. Donald Trump has broken so many laws, and he's in the Oval Office breaking laws. So this informant is the biggest criminal, the biggest, the baddest. You ask me, he ain't good at it, meaning bad, good, like black people say, because we use bad as a whole different thing. Donald Trump is horrible at it because we see him from afar. He's not fooling anybody. He's just fooling dumb MAGA. And it just get worse with Donald Trump. And I'm going to enjoy this because right now a Democratic leader is bashing Trump. Pay attention to this, and I'm loving it.
This is what you could end up looking like if you eat some of the raw frozen shrimp being sent to the United States by other countries. Now, let me tell you what I'm talking about. In late August, the FDA found that raw frozen shrimp from Indonesia was being
Don't eat it, y'all.
In Walmart.
Definitely don't get Walmart. I was about to say Walmart. I don't eat anything from Walmart unless it's a bag of chips.
Looking like if you eat some of the raw frozen shrimp being sent to the United States by other countries.
All I'm going to say is going down. Everybody coming for your neck, Donnie. You got the old other, your own race going against you. You going down, Donnie. His karma is happening fast. Now he wants to say the reason that he's not saying much because he was an FBI informant. That's what Mike Johnson's trying to say. That's not something we didn't already know. Mike Johnson, you haven't given us anything new to help the situations with the survivors. Donald Trump meant that it was a hoax. He ain't talking about himself being an FBI agent. He never mentioned that, Mike Johnson. So there you go with your lies, baby. You just like the MAGA cult.
Well, well, well. It's Friday, baby, and now Daddy Dumpy Pants.
Fair use, great for educational purposes, great research and entertainment. What we doing is we doing research, baby.
Pappy's hands shoved squarely up his tight rear end. But according to them, the new story on the street is he doesn't mean that it's a Democratic hoax. He knows it's real because he was an FBI informant who told
they trying to flip it on us.
Guy. And we're supposed to just believe this excuse and let it fly. I think I must point out here, dear, if he was an informant to the FBI,
he's not good at it.
Then he knows exactly who is on the list, and yet he still seems to want to
hit the like button, please.
Releasing the list. As a matter of fact, as a FBI informant who was informing on the island guy, he wouldn't need a list from the DOJ or the FBI because, well, my goodness, baby, there's no tears needed today. You mean to tell me your FBI informant buddy never let you know all the names that were at play? Come on now. The shit they come up with, not very clever. Not clever at all. Not to mention that if you did come out to admit that you were an FBI informant, well, I guess you could say your head would be on the chopping block today by the same people who mysteriously made Jeffrey unalive himself. John.
I'm going to go out and come back in because someone is tripping my life. When your numbers are dropping, someone is tripping your life. Well, it went back up, so I may not go out and come back in. MAGA, you're so childish. You want to come for my throat because I'm telling the truth on your leader. You leave me ugly comments on my community wall that do not make any sense. I'm born woman, look like a woman, birthed a child out of my beautiful flower from between my legs. You better worry about, did you get birthed out of your daddy's butt? Why do y'all come over here? Why? Because you got such a thing for black women that you don't want to own up to it, and you're over here sneaking on my live while your wife is in the shower. And when you get in the shower, you jack off thinking about me, you sick, perverted people. You either sit down and enjoy my life or just don't come over here, baby. I won't lose no sleep. This does not pay my bills. I'm grateful for what I have been making from YouTube, but this is not my only income, baby. So you cannot break me. Stop coming over here thinking you're going to hurt somebody, because you're going to hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself.
Well. I'm hoping you'll spread this bit of tea far and wide for everyone to see. Because today, Daddy Dumpy Pants spent $1 billion with
wasteful spending, y'all.
Stroke of his shoulder.
That's what what's his name? Elon said he was cutting. Wasteful spending.
He signed today to change the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. It's going to cost us $1 billion, and some say maybe a little more.
Stop the press. MAGA, did you not hear that? To change the Department of Defense to the Department of War, it's going to cost us $1 billion. And Elon and Donnie and those little punks that was working for Elon supposed to have been saving us money, but they haven't saved us anything. They have put America more in debt. We already owe trillions of dollars to China. Do you know what we're going to owe now? When Donald Trump is completely done, even at this moment, 34 trillion effing around with Trump. So you want to F around and find out and be living on the street and no longer have your trailer park trash anymore? You need to start contacting your Congress instead of coming over here trying to bully a black woman, 130 pounds, 5'3". You want to bully somebody small. Then let me know you can't whip a man. I whip you with my words and you can't handle it. So you go on my community page and harass this beautiful queen sitting in my chair at my desk. Where's your chair and desk? Where's your channel? Start one. Then I'm going to come fuck with you. Make it do what it do. So due to we don't have anybody worthy that's over our health, we have RF Kennedy screwing up everything, lying to Congress. Disease is spread, and now it's a parasite, a new silent killer parasite disease that spreads to 8 states. This is Donald Trump's fault. From firing people at the CDC, and the list goes on. That's why we have low job numbers. But this is Donald Trump's fault. The one that wears orange makeup, hair pieces, a girdle, and 2-inch things in his shoes to give him more inches to make him appear tall. Yeah, the fat boy. He might as well be a drag queen. Sorry, y'all.
Parasite. We have some news right now. A silent killer parasite disease is spreading across multiple United States, according to experts, and not many people are talking about it. So a new study was published by the CDC.
Hit the like button, please. Thank you.
Infectious diseases. Researchers are now stating that the human cases of Chagas disease have been confirmed in at least 8 states around the country. They're now recommending that this is labeled an endemic. Chagas disease is a parasitic illness that is spread by so-called kissing bugs. And this is going to be gross, but the disease is transmitted, according to the CDC, when feces from bugs infected with this parasite enter a person's body through a bite wound or contact with the eyes or mouth. Now, this disease doesn't always cause illness, but some people can experience symptoms. And if people develop chronic issues as a result of this disease, according to the CDC, 20 to 30% can experience potentially fatal heart issues or serious digestive problems. That's according to the CDC, according to Fox News, and others. Happy 2025. Spread the word and follow along for more. We have some news right now. A silent...
This is serious. That's why I'm going to tell you, people think I'm mean. No, I love me. I don't like shaking hands anymore. I don't want to hug. I mean, I don't know, because you could pass things to other people. No, Donnie, this is your fault. Donald Trump is trying to take us down, y'all. He has done a lot of it already. People have lost their jobs. They lost their homes, their cars. They don't have food. They can't buy food. He's taking away the benefits, the food stamps, the Medicare, Medicaid, et cetera, et cetera. America's on the downfall. And what does MAGA do? Go and harass me when they need to go over there to Truth Social and bother Donnie about you losing things. Because you're sitting in my chat faking the funk like you got it going on. One moment, please.
Some news right now, the Trump administration is sending 10 F-35 fighter
jets
to
stupid.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico is part of our country, for one.
Up its military effort in the Caribbean against drug cartels.
Well, he better check his son's pockets.
And the Maduro regime.
Sniff, sniff, blow. Sniff, sniff.
10 F-35 fighter jets are en route to an airbase in Puerto Rico. This is a significant show of force. It comes after a military strike targeted a vessel in the Southern Caribbean earlier this week. And as Marco Rubio, Donald Trump, and Pete Hegseth say that they plan on targeting more vessels if they try to leave Venezuela, specifically these narco-terrorist vessels, according to them. And now we're going to have a significant air show of force by Venezuela as well. Spread the word so more people know. I'll do a full breakdown on my site.
Subscribe to Aaron Pointers. He has an amazing YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to him. He's on Instagram as well, so you can follow him on Instagram. Fair use, great for educational purpose, great for research purposes, and great entertainment. But we are doing research purposes today. Maybe somebody's children should come off the powder first. Sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine. Y'all know that song. What I've learned about America, they the biggest dealers. Take, for instance, Ronald Reagan had crack cocaine put into the black neighborhoods. America is the biggest dealers. Are you kidding me? But only when it affects the white people, it's important. Oh, God. How y'all doing today? Hit that like button. Yes. King Steve says, King Rashard says the CIA. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes. True. I'm really worried about our country because we have an insufficient man in the Oval Office that doesn't know what he's doing. And y'all talked about President Joe Biden calling him Sleepy Joe. Well, who's more sleepy than Sleepy Joe? Donald Trump. He falls asleep at the meetings, at the press conferences, etc. You can't talk about President Joe Biden anymore. Donald Trump cannot sleep him any day. All that fat on his body is causing him to be that way. And that congested heart he has going on. Then the cankles, he can't help but to be sleepy. Weight will wear you down. I don't have that problem, but I know because I know people that tell me it weighs them down. So let's listen to this young fella. He's amazing as well. And he's from Uniting Now. And he's going to let you listen to some things that Massey has said. Thomas Massey, the Republican that's leading the way from the Republican Party to have the Epstein files released. So let's listen to him a moment, okay?
Breaking news. So Representative Thomas Massey from Kentucky, who helped host the event for the Epstein survivors yesterday, is saying that there have been $2.5 million worth of ads being taken out against him by GOP mega donors. He even said some of these billionaires are in Epstein's black book. Check this out.
There's been $2.5 million of ads run against me by 3 billionaires who are mega donors to the Republican Party. And one of them's actually, I'm not going to say on Epstein's list, but he's in Epstein's black book. So
think about what's going on in our country. This corruption runs extremely deep. GOP mega donors are willing to spend millions of dollars on ads to smear somebody who's trying to seek justice for the Epstein survivors. This is, of course, no coincidence. This is corruption at the highest level. Every American deserves to know who was involved, who was protected, and why the truth has been suppressed for so long. What we're witnessing is the system trying to protect itself, and it's all in broad daylight. Survivors are pleading for transparency, and the public overwhelmingly supports the release of the full Epstein files. However, Trump and all of these mega donors must have something to lose if these files come out, because they're pushing really hard to keep them hidden. We all need to pay attention. They can't get away with burying the files again and again, because if they do, that will be proof that our own government works to protect the powerful people and the connected, not the American people. We have some breaking news. So Representative Thomas Matt.
Not only are they trying to keep the files hidden, what they're doing with the Epstein files, they are redacting the Republican men that have touched those young girls, redacting them from the Epstein files. They have already went through pages for Donald Trump and redacted him out of the Epstein files. Now they're doing it for the other men in Congress, the representatives that have been touching young girls that have, even though they married, got wives, probably got boyfriends, girlfriends, grinder. This is sick. So we're going to replay what was said yesterday that was caught on a hot mic. One moment, please. Yes, we're going to listen to that again. We ain't going to let them slide through. Donnie think because he sit behind that Oval Office desk, that he can't be untouched. Everybody can be touched. Even if you got to be touched by God, you're not untouchable, Donnie. Hold on, let me find a recording, y'all. Just a moment.
Files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
I think they got Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's.
That's breaking the law. That Trump and Bundy is breaking the law with Maxwell.
That was the acting deputy chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations, Joseph Schnitt, telling a stranger about the FBI and DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. Schnitt, who works at a high level inside the Department of Justice, goes on to comment on the inconsistent statements, special treatment of Ghislaine Maxwell, and the blatant backtracking on promises of transparency.
And what do you do for work here?
I work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23 years. I'm an analyst. I'll be acting deputy chief of our office for a few months starting next week. I work closely with like all the federal law enforcement agencies, the U.S. Attorney's offices, the prosecutors and stuff. The thing is, it's interesting because I do deal with so many of the agencies, like the Bureau of Prisons, the Marshal Service, the FBI, U.S. Attorney's offices.
Recently, the FBI and DOJ have come under fire for promising transparency, then refusing to release footage and unredacted documents, going directly against the public's expectations and the promises made by Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel. In a DOJ press release, Attorney General Pam Bondi stated, quote, "This Department of Justice is following through on President Trump's commitment to transparency and lifting the veil on the disgusting actions of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators," unquote, and also claimed they were shedding light on Epstein's extensive network, only to later claim that Epstein was acting alone, and that the only video evidence they had was of Epstein's personal child porn collection.
Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were.
Trump is disgusting too.
Kash Patel claimed, quote, "There will be no cover-ups, no missing documents."
There's definitely cover-ups for the Republican Party.
Epstein matter or any other matters, we are diligently working on that. I'm not going to.
You can't trust him. Look at that eye. You can't trust his eyes.
Public ever. Only to later claim on Joe Rogan's podcast that releasing any videos would re-victimize those impacted.
We're not going to re-victimize.
But you
We're not
are.
going to put that shit back out. Not happening, because then he wins. Not doing it. You want to hate me for it? Fine.
You know, internally, there's a lot of even within the administration, there's internal conflict.
Okay.
At FBI really wants it. Second in command at FBI has been like causing problems because he's like, no, these have to be released.
Yeah. So the FBI wants them out.
Yep, the top two guys do.
And Bonnie doesn't.
I don't know what Bonnie wants. Bonnie wants whatever job.
Sure.
She's super good.
Why is there
He said Bundy wants whatever Trump wants. Trump wanted his name redacted out of Epstein files. What did Bundy do and Kash Patel do? Had 1,000 FBI agents to go and redact Donald Trump out of the Epstein files. It took so many hours, y'all, to do that. Hundreds of hours. Donnie, you did something terrible, baby. Real bad if it took that many agents to redact you out of the Epstein files. Think about it, MAGA. Why would you want to be redacted out of something if you haven't done anything wrong? You did a lot of wrong, Donnie. You've been doing wrong since you was brought into this earth. Why? Because you was birthed into this earth as the Antichrist. And now you think you're untouchable, honey. You got to pay the piper. Who's the piper? Satan. He's here to collect. One moment. Just a moment, everybody. So right now, the MAGA pollster says that Trump has screwed the Republican Party. So I'm going to read to you what they're talking about. The top pollsters for the right-leaning Rasmussen reports Donald Trump's favorite pollster, because they tend to skew in his favor, says that Trump's approval rating has tanked so badly that he could take the whole Republican Party down with him in the midterms. This sentiment has been echoed by political analysts on both the right and left for some time now. But hearing it from a pro-Trump pollster tells you how bad the situation is. America is on a terrible downfall. When it was on a terrible downfall before, President Barack Obama pulled us out of the recession. Well, Donald Trump has dragged us into a recession. Who's the bad genes? It's not the black man. It's the mediocre white man. One moment.
Settlers, let's talk about the 4 ways you are self-destructing this American economy. American settlers have always mistaken domination for strategy. Every major economic policy is designed to suppress the Black Indigenous life, and it ends up corroding the national economy itself. By prioritizing the destiny swap of Black
Hit the
Americans,
like button.
settlers have managed to only limit themselves. It's a type of self-sabotage that is truly comedic in nature. Here are those 4 ways. Number 1. Housing. In the 1930s, white policymakers drew those infamous red lines across Black neighborhoods. And the logic was simple. Lock Black families out of homeownership wealth, then try to steal the land. But here's what happened. Those very maps didn't just cage Black households, they devalued the land itself. Today, the neighborhoods branded hazardous nearly a century ago still show lower property values, lower ownership rates, and lower intergenerational wealth transfer. By designing policies to suppress Black property values, settler America also robbed itself of trillions in collective national wealth. So, genius. Lower home equity means weaker tax bases, underfunded public services, fewer local businesses, and slower national growth. The boomerang is brutal. By personally limiting Black households from gaining generational wealth, they ended up poisoning their own economy. Number 2. Wage suppression. Black American workers have been systematically underpaid compared to settler workers for generations. The annual racial wage gap costs Black American households billions of dollars of lost income every year. And settlers think that this secures their dominance. And what it actually does is it shrinks the national consumer demand. Every underpaid Black American is a missed mortgage payment, a canceled shopping trip, a business loan that never circulates. So again, genius, less spending power means weaker demand, weaker recoveries, and deeper recessions. By cutting Black American wages, settler America cut its own throat, creating an economy that can't sustain infinite growth. The current state of the economy in 2025. Number 3. Carceral punishment. Instead of investing in Black Americans, white Americans invested billions into incarceration. The U.S. spends over $80 billion annually on jails and prisons, not including the enormous hidden costs, and lost earnings, and disrupted families, and of course, generational poverty. And this doesn't just devastate Black American households, it's a fiscal sinkhole. White rural counties rely on prisons as artificial job hubs. But this is false growth. Your taxpayer dollars are feeding punishment instead of production. And what's the result? A national economy addicted to warehousing Black life. An economy so incapable of sustaining itself without its parasitic drain. Every prison cell is a wasted future. Number 4, the wealth gap. The median settler household today sits $220,000 ahead of the Black American household in wealth. And that gap is growing. Between 2019 and 2022 alone, the white-Black wealth divide widened by about $50,000. Economists calculate that by closing this gap, it would add $1.5 trillion to the GDP within a decade. A 4 to 6% rise in national output. So translation. Every year that white America clings to its fabricated advantage, the U.S. economy runs below capacity. The system designed to rob Black American families of wealth has robbed the nation itself of growth, resilience, and prosperity. You can't even make this shit up. Every attempt to bury the future of Black Americans has buried white prosperity too. The very instability that we're suffering right now was caused by colonizers. What settlers consider an economic collapse really is just the inevitable karma and the parasite devouring its host. Settler America has never been able to rule this land without ruining this land. You clowns tried to build an economy on exclusion? Exclusion is not productive. It's destructive. So by targeting Black Americans with economic violence, you ended up with a system that can't even sustain itself. That's embarrassing. But now the day has come where you realize that you can't starve Black life while you feed on prosperity. Instead, you get to enjoy the poison-filled meal that you originally intended for Black Americans. It's over. All right, settlers, let's talk.
It's over, MAGA. Donald Trump built something to bring down Black people, but y'all forget we made it out of slavery, and y'all told us to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Well, baby, we are the rose that bust the concrete open and grew through. You know nothing about that, so you don't have the backbone to survive in this economy. But we do. We're not online crying because we're struggling. I'm going through stuff too. I pin and pitch and go to the grocery store, but I eat well. But we're not sitting on TikTok crying. I love y'all, but white people, stop it. It's embarrassing to get on social media and cry because your daddy Trump has let you down. Stop it. Get a backbone. Every time y'all set a trap for Black people, you fall in it. We don't. We see you. And we love you anyway, through the love of God. So get it together, MAGA. One moment. The U.S., because of Donald Trump, has lost 42,000 manufacturing jobs since the Liberation Day. All right? What y'all gonna do, MAGA? He didn't bring jobs. The job numbers are at the lowest it has ever been because of the orange man. He's not an intellect. President Joe Biden was an intellect. He had a doctor for his wife, while Donna got a tramp for his wife. She can't speak English, so you got a problem with the Spanish people speaking Spanish, well, Latinos speaking Spanish here in America. But you ain't said a thing about Melania Trump speaking today, and she can't speak English properly. She should be deported. She's an immigrant. She can't speak English. Isn't that what y'all tell our beautiful brown people? Stop speaking Spanish. Well, learn Spanish, puta. So former Philippine President Duterte is in custody in The Hague, having been charged by the International Criminal Court for ordering the summary execution of alleged detractors. So let's kind of switch it up. Let's put Trump into place, because this is what he did. He blew up a fisherman's boat saying it was for dealing. It was not. So he should be executed too, punished. Trump should be. So this week, Trump authorized the summary execution of 11 alleged traffickers on board a vessel targeted by military strike in the Caribbean Sea. They were not dealers, they were fishermen. So Donald Trump, you need to be put behind bars and never let go till your body continues to rot and decay. This is what I'm talking about. Don't tell me that a president can't be punished. He's not untouchable. He just rotten to the core. He has bad genes and he's low IQ. Trump cancels Biden's rule requiring airlines to compensate passengers for flight disruption. See, he's not to help the American people. He is doing everything to distract from the Epstein files and trying to hurt us. He's not helping us, MAGA. When you gonna learn? I know you were slow in school. I know you was in special ed. I know you rode the short bus. But wake up. That's hurting Americans. Breaking. Philadelphia superstar Democratic District Attorney Larry Krasner lays out a brilliant playbook for arresting and prosecuting Donald Trump's fastest ICE agents and troops as the mega cracks down spiral out of control. So let's see what this is about. I'm going to read it to you. Let me take a sip of water. How y'all doing? How you doing? Philadelphia superstar Democrat attorney Larry Krasner lays out a brilliant playbook for arresting and prosecuting Donald Trump's fastest ICE agents and troops as the mega crackdown spiral out of control. This plan even undermines the presidential pardon. If what you have is a group of ICE agents, or you even have the military coming into Philadelphia and they're committing crimes, they're committing assaults are illegal, homicides that are illegal. They're kidnapping people. They are engaging in unlawful restraint, which is a crime in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Krasner said, they're obstructing the administration of justice. He continued, if you have people coming in, military, ICE, whoever it is, acting beyond their legal authority, they can be prosecuted, assuming they commit crimes in state court. And they cannot be pardoned by Donald Trump, which means they get to tell a Philadelphia jury exactly why that they thought they could invade the city and get to bear the consequences, whether they are handcuffs, a jury trial, or a jail sentence, he concluded. This is exactly the kind of hardline approach we need from our Democratic leaders. Trump and his minions are breaking the law at every turn, and it's time that we start holding them accountable. These mass agents think they are above the law as they work to build a mega demolition. They're in for a rude awakening. By prosecuting any lawmakers of a state level, Democrats can circumvent the presidential pardon, which has been irreparably corrupted by Trump. He demonstrated the willingness to abuse it for purely political purposes with his mass pardon of the January 6th insurrectionists. Any plan for fighting back against the Republican criminals must factor in that reality. Okay, ICE, baby. You go to Pennsylvania, you're going to be locked up. You're committing crimes. You committed it all over this country. Kidnapping is a crime. You don't even introduce yourself as the law. You don't even show a warrant. You just take people, slam them around, throw them on the ground, beat them up, and put them in the back. That's illegal. But Donald Trump has his white constituents think it's fine. And in Donald Trump's mind, he said in Chicago, those people was born to be put in jail. Talking about black people. Inner city people, Donnie, is that what you said, boy? Donald Trump hates black people, and we don't like you. So Jasmine Crockett has been blessed with the opportunity to be in Glamour magazine. So I'm going to show you what she looks like. They interviewed her. Glamour magazine did. I love Queen Jasmine Crockett. That's my girl. That's my girl. So it says, Representative Jasmine Crockett is done playing by the rules. Never follow the rules anymore. Don't. To the Texas Congresswoman, what the president has done to our democratic institution is akin to setting a house on fire. At what point, she wonders, will we need to reckon with what that means? In a frank conversation, read as she gives Glamour her unfiltered thoughts on Trump administration, why Democrats are not equipped to meet the moment, and the burning house that is the U.S. government. So she says, who am I to sit back and to just be okay with the status quo and not do my part to make sure that this road is easier and not more difficult for those behind me? It's just a weight that I can carry with me everywhere. And she's carrying it. She's speaking up. This is another photo. I think she's so beautiful. She says, it's always MAGA. If we lay down the reports, whether it's threats that are being waged on Republicans or waged on Democrats, I can guarantee you 90% or more were Trump supporters. The violence comes from one space, period. This is Queen Jasmine Crockett. She says, we still want to be in the rule of law. We still want to believe that there are rules to be played by. But with every passing day, Trump breaking new rules, breaking new laws, breaking new norms, all in the name of power. When people go on a power trip, they're actually powerless. They want to feel more important than what they are. Donnie, you're not important. You're not attractive. You're not smart. You're not kind. You're not nowhere near beautiful, boy. You're ugly. And this is another photo of Jasmine Crockett for Glamour magazine. So we're going to be moving along to the next subject. One moment, please.
Trump was an undocumented migrant. Would you support him being deported because of the fact he was held civilly liable for rape and he committed 34 felonies?
I mean, he wasn't committed of committing rape, though.
He was held civilly liable for it.
Right.
Okay, so why don't you care? Why do you?
He was held civilly liable?
Yeah.
Really? Really? Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was just an accusation.
It was an accusation that was then taken to court and proved.
But so he was convicted of rape. I mean, grape. Sorry.
So, if what you mean by convicted is found guilty? Yes.
And he wasn't punished.
Yes, MAGA, your leader was found guilty. It's not surprising. He was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Kind of found out he was an informant against Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump was an FBI informant against Jeffrey Epstein, y'all. Hold on, I got to get my charger. I'm trying to pick it up with my foot. Hold on. Couldn't pick it up with my foot. Hold on, y'all. Okay, all right. So, you could tell MAGA anything that Donald Trump does and what they're going to say. He didn't do it. He's not guilty. Then the young fella telling him he was guilty of essaying. E. Jean Carroll, he owes her millions of dollars. We can thank Letitia James for that. I love Letitia James. We can thank her for that. So let's take a listen to this right quick.
While he was going on that tirade, I went back and I listened to Donald Trump's press conference at the White House. And not only did he call the move to release the Epstein files a Democratic hoax, he said it was designed to get the American people to focus in on something that was irrelevant. Now let that sink in.
Let it sink in, y'all.
Listen to the survivors that were in front of the Capitol just a few minutes ago. Listen to their horror stories. That's irrelevant. I mean, that the president of the United States of America would say something like that is pathetic.
He's pathetic and fat and funky.
I mean,
he could, very easily put all this controversy to rest by just releasing the files. And that is why we need to pass the Massey Kana bill, because we could actually pass a bill that would compel him to do that. What you all did in the Rules Committee last night is a resolution that doesn't really mean anything. It's designed to, while he was going on that tirade, I went back and I listened to
Donald Trump called it irrelevant, a hoax, etc. The hoax is that those hair pieces that he wears. The hoax is his bad breath that one of his past people from his cabinet, his first term, said he has bad breath. The hoax is that girdle that he's wearing to hold his body together, so you don't see how many rolls he got, because he got a booty do. We're going to listen to Virginia Jeffries' brother again about why the files need to be released. Although the MAGA Republican Party is fighting to stop them from being released. Y'all are some illegal people. Troublesome. But we're not scared. We're going to stand and fight, Dems.
Vote no, your stance will be clear. You will be choosing to stand on the side of the rich and powerful, allowing money to buy your way out of the consequence. But here's my one ask. Look these survivors in the eye and tell them why. Then, look the people of the United States in the eye and tell them why. And then, when you're alone, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself why.
Hit the like button, please.
Virginia said it best, and I quote, "I have physical and mental scars that will never heal. I have memories that will never go away. They say time can heal, but this won't. Not until the justice system makes an example out of these people with so-called privileges. I just call it money. The only time I can begin to heal is when their freedom is taken from them, just like they did to me and literally thousands of other victims. The survivors of this horrific abuse are watching. The American people are watching. And history is watching. Which side will you be on? If you vote no, your stance will be clear."
All of the Democrats have gone in and signed their signatures. They only have 4 Republicans that have signed their signatures. And those Republicans that do not sign their signatures, you're saying you're down for child predators. You're saying you're down for X trafficking. You're saying you're down for SA-ing children and women. Even some boys. Because it was said something about the orange man supposedly touched a young boy before. Is that what Russia has over you, Donnie? Because we want to know. We don't know. Tell us. You say you're an FBI informant. I'm sure they'll work out something with you, Donnie. It has been alleged that happened. You're an FBI informant. Mike Johnson said you are an FBI informant. Step forward and tell the truth. But listen to the muskrat.
Right now, there have been survivors of Jeffrey Epstein.
Look at his teeth when he talks, like a rat's mouth.
They're calling for these case files, these documents to be released. And
The
Thomas
skunk.
Massey, who is sponsoring a discharge position to get the House to vote on release those documents, says he doesn't believe you're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be, and he says that's
Donald Trump is one ugly MF.
Redacting them and slow walking.
He is oogly, not ugly, oogly.
Protecting any friends or donors, sir? So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied.
They asked him about the Epstein files, and what does he do? He deflect. He started talking about the Kennedy files. That's not what the reporter asked you, fat boy. Pissy depends, diaper rash, that's not what they asked you. He could never stay on point. He knows exactly what he's doing. He projects and deflects. And the American people are tired of him.
You know, your sister in some ways, many ways, right, paid for, you know, the ultimate price for what happened to her and for speaking out and all of the bravery that she did in that. And today, a White House official, Trump made the point about hoax, but then told CNN, so this is a White House official to CNN, said anybody who signs the Republican Thomas Massey's petition, right, his petition would force a vote on the full release of all the files, right? That any Republican who backs that, any lawmaker, in fact, who backs it, and here's the quote, Sky, would be viewed as a very hostile act to the administration. What do you think about that? I guess on two levels I'm asking you this, Sky. One, that they're calling it a hostile act. And two, that they're adding that level to this administration, that it's somehow personal to this administration.
Who are we here to protect? Are we here to protect monsters? Are we here to protect men that preyed on children and young women at the time? Is that who we're here to protect? And I want them to answer that question, because at the end of the day, they have to look at themselves in the mirror and tell themselves why. But more importantly, they have to look at their children and their grandchildren in the eye and tell them why. Why would you stand against this? What are we asking for here? Break it down to the most fundamental level. This is a human issue. And I implore you, the American people, I implore the government to go home and get on FaceTime or go right in front of their faces and look your children in the eye and look your grandchildren in the eye and say, would I not fight for you for this? Is this not the right thing to do? Would I sign no to this? Because if you do that, then you have to live with that. I don't have to live with that. I'm on the right side of this. The survivors are on the right side of this. And it's not their responsibility to have to come out with these names. It is their responsibility. It's the government's responsibility to protect the people.
Sky,
We cannot expect this government to protect us. Him asking that, you might as well go pull straws out of a broom and eat them. Because we're dealing with a dirty, filthy government. This is the worst government we have ever been under. The Donald Trump regime.
We are tired. However, we are not going away.
That was Ashley Rubite, abused by Jeffrey Epstein at the age of 15, publicly speaking out today along with many other Epstein victims, and she's absolutely right. They're not going away, the victims, the Epstein files.
Uh-oh, what happened? Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that. No, the victims are not going away, Donnie. They're going to push forward. And hopefully Marjorie Taylor Greene is not lying to them that she's going to do what she said she's going to do. They accumulate the names and they hand them over to her. I hope she's being honest, y'all. I don't put anything past Marjorie Taylor Greene. I hope she's not playing with these victims like that. Don't do that. I don't trust her. She's MAGA. There's no good in the MAGA cult. All poisonous. Hit that like button, please. Come on, y'all.
A survivor of Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm a 1991 Jeffrey Epstein survivor.
This is Rosa, the first time she has ever appeared publicly as a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein.
Today, survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking showed up at a rally on Capitol Hill, and for many of them, it was their first time sharing their stories in public.
And I was abused by Jeffrey Epstein when I was 14 years old. Being a survivor is not a headline, it's our life. Several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of
She's
names.
beautiful.
Some House members are pushing for the Epstein Files Transparency Act. So at this moment, Representatives Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie are hosting a press conference to introduce the act, while just one street away many people have gathered to demonstrate and call for transparency.
I think it's shameful that this has been called a hoax. Hopefully today, we can clear that up.
President Trump is the one who actually said he was going to release the files, and I actually think if it passes the House, you would see the release of the actual files.
I am a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm a 1991 Jeffrey Epstein survivor.
Release the files. If you're not guilty, you will release those files. But there's so many Republican men in those files. So they already, they already redacted Donnie out. Now they're going to finish redacting the Republican male party out of the files. Mediocre white men, that's all I can say. Bunch of mediocre white men, they just can't keep their nasty hands to themselves. Why touch children? Why take advantage of women and grab them by the PUSS? Why? Why? They're made of filth. They got bad genes, low IQ.
Voted for him. I voted for Trump. And for him to say what he is saying is beyond me, because I put my hope in him and he's supposed to protect us. And
girl,
for him
bye.
to say that this is
I feel sorry for her, but girl, you wrong for
sides,
believing that. A man that's been
this is
convicted of
not
essay?
sides.
No.
We will say it time and time again. None of us are up there accusing him of anything. There is no one that is accusing him of any wrongdoing. So for the fact that he is saying those things and saying it's a hoax, who are you hiding for then? Because if it's not you, then who is it? And that's
It's him and the others, in my opinion. It's him and the others, because he was in the files. He had the FBI agents to redact him out of it. 1,000 FBI agents. Now, y'all know he did a lot if it took 1,000 FBI agents. Donald Trump is grimy and slimy. He's nasty. Trump is pulling stunts again because of his bad behavior. He wants to push others because he's a loser.
Adam Schiff, who led the first impeachment of Donald Trump, is under investigation by the Department of Justice. New York State Attorney General Letitia James, who filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump and his business, she is now under investigation.
He is going after
Miles
his
Taylor,
enemies.
who literally did the only thing that he did.
Yes,
was
Queen
write,
Tammy Trump should be in jail.
a book criticizing the President of the United States. He is under criminal investigation. Chris Krebs, whose offense, I think, was to say that the 2020 election was the most secure ever, he is under investigation. John Bolton, who has criticized the president, gets his house raided. Lisa Cook, the Fed governor, is now under investigation for mortgage fraud, I guess because she doesn't want to lower rates. The degree to which this government is suppressing speech that simply opposes the president's views should make Mr. Farage and every single one of my Republican colleagues speak out.
Hello, aloha, kitty. Hey, Queen.
Nothing. There is still time, my friends, and I yield back. Senator Adam Schiff, who led the first.
I'm not going to worry about Adam Schiff. They not doing much. I'm liking the girls. Jasmine Crockett, the redhead white woman. I like her. I can't think of her name right now. Queen Summerlee. We can't depend on those people that's been in Congress a long time because they don't picked up the Nancy Pelosi ways. They don't have any fight. Well, they better find it.
Johnson is, it seems to be, and this might be my perception, correct me if I'm wrong, trying to do everything he can to stop the Epstein files from really coming out. The big document dump we saw the other day, it seemed to be a dump of stuff that was already there before. And it seemed to be the Democrats, Speaker Mike Johnson, it seems to be...
Speaker Mike Johnson, I blew the top off the, He'll put it out there. Donald Trump is an FBI informant, which I knew it already. I showed y'all plenty of documents, docuseries about that last year.
A cover-up of epic proportions, a cover-up involving the United States government, the justice system, rich and powerful individuals, a cover-up potentially involving foreign countries and foreign actors.
I like her.
Yes, here today in this House, as our colleagues are up in the House chamber in the Rules Committee, a cover-up by the Republicans in this chamber. Because as you will find out in the coming days and weeks, This goes all the way to the top. We will follow every
And
thread.
who's at the top? Donald Trump. The ugly man, the fat man, the man that has to walk around with a diaper. How you wear a girdle and a diaper together? How do you wear a Depends and a girdle together? Woo, Lord, that's some funky body there. Funky. So one of the survivors said, and this is from Lisa Phillips, we are not asking for pity. We are here demanding accountability. I'm demanding justice. Congress must choose. Will you continue to protect predators or will you finally protect survivors? Pam Bundy, Donald Trump, Kash Patel. This is beautiful Lisa Phillips, a woman of color, a black woman with a lot of melanin.
Trump is trashing the economy and creating shortages of everything. Shortages of everything. Electricity, food, workers, healthcare.
Trump is hurting Americans.
Ruining people's personal finances and the American economy on purpose because he believes in shortages. He wants there to be not enough workers, not enough healthcare,
not enough food,
not enough food. He believes in shortages. This is his economic philosophy. And
yes, Queen Deborah Kennedy, Trump is vile.
The media and the private sector institutions and American cities are the stuff of authoritarians throughout history and across the planet. These things are not in tension. They work together. They are the same thing. They are the same project. And so the question for us, and especially my Republican colleagues, is when is it going to be too much?
I agree, Queen Tammy McDaniel. Arrest Trump already.
Red line these past 8 months. And it begs the question, is there any line that we won't cross? Because if not, we all know how this ends. Donald Trump is trashing the economy.
It ends with recession. We're really already in it. Donald Trump would never own up to it. He's never going to tell MAGA the truth. MAGA just keep drinking that Jim Jones red Kool-Aid, y'all. Just falling tar already, please.
Your breaking news as major cracks are forming in the Republican Party, and we're going to start to see some things shift here because Marjorie Taylor Greene was calling out Donald Trump for calling the Epstein files a hoax, while the victims of these heinous acts were speaking to the media and to the American people. While they were doing that, Trump was in the Oval Office calling it a hoax and comparing it to the JFK files, saying that they've released everything and people want more and more and they keep getting it and then nothing new emerges. But guys, they've only released a tiny percentage of the Epstein files. There is so much more he could release. I mean, this is a completely different time. There is video, there are photos, there is thousands of pages of documents, of testimony, of bank transfers that need to be tracked. I mean, with this case, I think all you need to do is follow the money, and that's going to expose so much. So we'll see what happens here. But when Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's like the embodiment of MAGA, starts calling Trump out, that's not a good thing for the Republican Party. And I think we're going to see some more people start shifting as well. Because the more Trump resists this, the more guilty he looks. Let me know if you agree.
The shift is here. Donald Trump's karma is here. The shift is here, baby. Every day is getting worse for Donald Trump. And it's causing his health to be worse. And I'm actually enjoying it. Yes, I am. I'm enjoying Donald Trump falling daily on his fat face and those rat teeth of his.
Uh-oh, it's on mute. Hold on.
But I think it's notable that even in our discussions with the victims yesterday, we were told that many of them have never even seen their own FBI files, and we're told
And
that
that's
they were
not how it's
being
supposed to
withheld by
go.
the federal government because of national interest. So it's clear that the federal
The government has
at levels for
done those
decades
survivors so wrong. They have been wronged by our government.
in this case and the people who were involved in it. So do you trust Bondi and the DOJ to be transparent
Nope.
about what they're putting out there? I mean, not only do I not trust them to be transparent, they are actively involved in a cover-up right now. But I think it's notable that even in our discussions with the victims yesterday, we were told that many of them have never even seen their own FBI files, and we're told that they...
How in the Jimmy Crack coin does the FBI overlook allowing the survivors to see their cases? I always told y'all this. The white man will destroy America. He came and stole a whole country, America, where there are already some blacks and natives here. Again, black people was the first people on this earth, Africans, okay? Stole the whole land. And right now, the white man is destroying America. You see, you have to pay the piper. And God don't like when you mess with his children. See, the last would be first and the first would be last. It's coming, baby. Karma knocking at your door, Donnie. It's already there. You can see it all over your body, from them cankles up to those bags and bruises under your eyes. Even through your catheter that's on your front and back. You're getting off, enjoying it in your back, ain't you, Donnie? You like that itch back there, don't you, boy?
Woman Teresa Ledger Fernandez, and as you said, this is a quote from you, okay, from Forbes. It says, GOP
I like
is
this
helping
queen,
Trump
too.
and the White House to cover up the Epstein files. You believe that?
I absolutely do. They're covering up the files of pedophiles, right? They refuse to release
America is looking horrible right now because
will
of Trump.
incriminate all of those who engaged in this criminal activity. And I'm chair of the Democratic Women's Caucus, and about 19 of us met with the 8 survivors and their attorneys to ask them, what do you need us to do? How can we support you? And they want to not just make sure that those files, and they know what's in those files. They told us, follow the cash. Look, there are cash transactions
Between Donald Trump and Epstein.
Who got paid for what girl was trafficked. We need to see that. But then the other thing they wanted to make sure is that we do what we can so that this doesn't keep happening to women and to children. Because let's go back to what this is. This is criminal activity where we are raping and beating the women that we love in our communities. And we are not listening to them. We are letting powerful people control this narrative and control the story and to say this should not have happened. And they talked about how
Thank you, Queen Tammy Daniels. Thank you, Queen.
You have no power. Do not think you can say a thing. They shared that with us. And what do we have now? We have the most powerful person right now elected having planes fly overhead and say we still control you. But their voices
She's right. That's
were
what that was
strong
about,
today,
those
and
planes.
we need to make sure that Americans keep listening to their voices and listening to the courage they have. And I wish that we got at least 6 Republicans to have the courage that those women have.
Congresswoman Teresa Ledger Fernandez.
Teresa Ledger Fernandez. Look her up, y'all. She's a part of Congress as well. Start believing the survivors. If you believe Trump, you're sick in the head. Believe the survivors. Believe them when they tell you the first time what has happened to them.
Este video es para Nancy Macy, solo para Nancy.
Can't solve any of that if this place is corrupt.
What do you mean if this place is corrupt?
Well, I mean, if they're going to cover up for rich and powerful and politically connected people, which is still what is happening right now here.
I don't trust Mace either.
Mistreated by Epstein and Maxwell, but also mistreated by our government. We got to rethink the whole files thing. Apparently, there's some files that they don't want out. I think we're going to get to the right spot where we can release everything that needs to be released.
You really can't solve any of that if this place is corrupt.
What do you mean if this place is corrupt?
Well, I mean, if they're going to cover up for rich and powerful and politically connected people, which is still what is happening right now here.
It's definitely corruption in Donald Trump's camp. We supposed to be protected by the FBI and the Department of Justice, but we're not. The Americans are in danger under the Donald Trump regime. There's no protecting women. There's no protecting children. And Donald Trump doesn't realize his karma will hit his children too. And he will never see heaven. You're going to hell, boy.
We announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that.
What I love about this, I don't love what happened to the survivors. No, I'm a survivor myself. What I truly like about this, at the point where the white MAGA Republican mediocre men are trying to have the age of consensual sex at 14 years old, this is happening. There's purpose behind your testimony, survivors. And these women are using their testimonies and they don't even realize they're going to stop the MAGA Republican, sick, twisted, freak men from making the consensual age 14 years old. The MAGA Republican mediocre white men are disgusting. Again, the white man is bringing this country to its knees.
Lisa, I appreciate you being with us, both of you being with us. You heard the president call this a Democrat hoax that never ends. What did you think when you hear that?
For me personally, it was shocking and upsetting. I couldn't believe that he said that. Just for so many years,
can believe it.
Acknowledged that there were thousands of files and he was going to release them. And so hearing that today, I was just confused by it. I think he thought that we were targeting him, and we weren't. I don't believe there's any evidence that
Donald Trump must come down.
Of the survivors.
Fall, fat boy.
So it wasn't a target against him. It was just, a cry for
look at that neck.
Wanting answers.
What is it? I mean, what's the impact been on your life? I mean, how are you holding up through this? Not just in recent months, but I mean, this is obviously going on for many years.
Well, it comes in waves. It's hard to deal with because we just want some accountability, and we haven't received any. The only person that's been held accountable is a woman, and we were abused by a man who sex trafficked a lot of us. And so we are aware there are many other men out there, and we just don't understand, or we are nearing the end of our fight, pushing us to, make other decisions, to see if we can get some accountability.
Lisa, I appreciate you being with us both.
Honey, these mediocre white men, something else, But they sure punished Bill Cosby, didn't they? Locked him up, old and crusty Bill. He just old and crusty like Donnie. Donnie, you're not too old to go to jail. They locked Bill Cosby up. Don't use that as an excuse, you funky MFer. And this piece of trash right here. Ooh.
He was at Harvard. He'd wanted to try cocaine. Who did he go to?
RFK.
The local drug dealer, RFK Jr. It's just an astonishing story, and it's made even odder, not only because
Hello, Queen
RFK
Victorious
has that
One. I love
very
you.
strange voice, but also he openly talked about having a brain worm.
Let me stop there, because they spread this idea about an illness that he might have had. It's a crack pipe voice.
Yeah.
When you smoke
Sounds like a
crack,
crackhead.
it burns your vocal cords.
So that's why he has that voice.
RFK Jr. has essentially behind him a long
Hit the like button, please, y'all. Get me to 100
All right,
likes.
so
Hit that like button.
About being at Harvard, he wrote a piece in the Atlantic in the run-up to the election saying that when he was at Harvard, he'd wanted to try cocaine. Who did he go to? The local drug dealer, RFK Jr.
Yeah, no. I mean, drugs are a mainstay of RFK Jr.'s life. He's an addict.
We can tell that voice. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I hate to hear him talk. That's why I'm not really covering him, because you know he was interrogated by Congress this week. I can't take RFK voice. It's gross. It itches me. It causes me to get rash. No, I cannot listen to his voice. I don't even like listening to Donald Trump. Donald Trump causes rashes when you gotta listen to him. One moment, please. More from Congress.
Anyone anticipated. We are obviously being
hit the like button, please.
SARS reports from Treasury, and also too, following up on that. There's some very rich and powerful people that need to go to jail. I think everyone's been frustrated as to why that hasn't happened before. But it is very much so a possibility that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset working for our adversaries. But also, too, I think the questions that we have is how much did our own government know about it? And so there's more to follow, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from the chairman momentarily. But I do applaud the victims from coming forward, because we heard from a woman who was as young as 14 years old when she was victimized, more than I think anyone anticipated. We are obviously going to be requesting the SARS reports from Treasury, and also too, following up on that. There's some very rich and powerful people that need to go to jail. I think everyone's been frustrated as to why that hasn't happened before. But it is very much so a possibility that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset working for our adversaries. But also, too, I think the questions that we have is how much did our own government know about it? And so there's more to
How much did our government know about Trump was an FBI informant? Working for Russia as well. That's what we've been told, allegedly, but that's what we've been told. There's docu-series on YouTube all about it. FBI agents were interviewed and spoke about Donald Trump. You're a rat, Dunny. That's why you got rat teeth in the bottom of your mouth. You're gross.
Okay, friends, I continue to challenge and urge and warn the church away from the criminal, felon, and adjudicated sexual predator in the White House, because I do believe that he is very dangerous, not just
Donald Trump is very dangerous.
Spiritually, I believe they have made an idol out of a spiritually dark and corrupt individual who fulfills every scriptural requirement for a false leader that the Bible
Antichrist is Donald Trump.
A day of
in my
reckoning
opinion
is coming. So I want to read these verses to you out of Isaiah 3,
Pay attention, y'all.
starting in verse 17. It says, "And the pride of man will be humbled, and the loftiness of men will be abased, and the Lord alone will be exalted in that day, but the idols will completely vanish." There will come a day when the people of God who have made this corrupt partnership will wake up and realize that they have been seduced. They have been held in spiritual captivity by a dangerous false leader. That day is coming. I hope that day comes soon. And I hope that we will continue to warn and challenge and urge people away from this corruption. Okay,
we must continue, y'all, to press on, keep our foot on Donald Trump's neck. He likes to seek revenge on his enemies, but he is the enemy within, and we're going to keep our foot on that enemy's neck until we get that MF out the office. He got to go.
Think of Donald Trump offering Eric Adams a position in the administration.
Eric Adams is crooked too, in my
All
opinion.
that funny business with Eric Adams indictments, nothing's for free.
I predicted that would happen, and also they would offer Curtis Lee one as well.
Yeah,
But I don't think they can win, though, even with that.
I don't think so either, but, you know, Eric Adams is looking out for Eric Adams. This is what I always say. Eric Adams, Donald Trump, and Andrew Cuomo are the same guy in different fonts. And I think that they are very similar in the way that they do business. I think they're very similar in the way that they operate. And it doesn't surprise me when they're friends.
What do you think of Donald Trump offering Eric Adams a position in the administration?
See, Eric Adams, he had all that corruption going on in New York. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. My phone died. Sorry about